Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers got the Heat tonight in Miami at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And, well, quite honestly, if you listen closely, you can probably still hear a rebound coming off the rim going into the hands of an Orlando Magic player, because the Lakers gave up what I believe might have been anywhere between 16 and 20 offensive rebounds in that game. It was ridiculous. Our defensive rebounding was atrocious. We rebounded the ball like a bunch of sixth graders, and I stand by that. So tonight we go up against a Miami Heat team who has been losing. They did win a game against the Washington Wizards, but the Washington Wizards came out of that first quarter having scored the highest percentage against the Miami Heat in a quarter since the finals back in 14. So that'll let you know where Miami's defense is right now. Now, they did come out against the Wizards out of the locker room and have a 41-point third quarter. So we need to be careful when we play them tonight to not do that thing we do when we come out of the locker room after halftime and not play well, because that's the opposite of what they just displayed in their previous game. So understand that 41-point quarter is nothing to poo-poo at, and that is what Miami put up at a halftime against the Wizards. Besides that, the Miami Heat been doing a lot of losing, man. They lost to the Celtics, they lost to the Timberwolves, they lost to a few other teams as well. The Brooklyn Nets got them. They've been getting their butt kicked, man. Miami Heat, however, have been using a lot of different starting lineups from what I understand, so that kind of messed with them. They decided to bench Kevin Love in the past game against the Wizards and didn't win, so I don't know if that's going to be a move they want to make again. But that's what the homework has told me. Also, Tyler Hero, one stat shy of a triple-double in the previous game. He's on a tear despite his team's struggles. He is not struggling at all. In fact, he looks like his best version of himself as of right now. And if he keeps this up, he may get an all-star nod. So I do understand that Tyler Hero is basically the guy who's playing the star role right now. Jimmy Butler is probable tonight. He's expected to play, but a little banged up. Bam Adebayo is out there for sure, so you got to be aware of him. Kyle Lowry's healthy, so you got to be aware of his abilities as well. And they're using a guy by the name of Haywood Highsmith, who hit 2 out of 3 threes in the last game, so we know that he could stretch the floor a little bit. They have some confidence in him. Nikola Jovic hasn't played much. I think that's a mistake. They need to put him into their lineup if they want to succeed. Jaime Jaquez isn't getting the minutes he probably deserves. If I had that roster, I'd start him. But, you know, Spoelstra knows what he's doing. Obviously, he's a much better basketball mind than myself, so I think he's bringing his team along slow. And they're starting off slow. Their season's starting slow because of it. So we can expect a Miami Heat team who is intent on getting off to a better start against us than they did in these previous matchups. And we can also expect some urgency from the Heat, because listening to their players, they don't want to start as slow as they have. They want to stop the bleeding when they're losing. And, of course, getting the game against the Wizards kind of helped, but they need to get this home game against us. And given the fact that we just dropped the game later, further down the state in Orlando, they probably believe they have confidence to rebound the ball specifically against us. So, as a Laker fan, I was embarrassed by their Orlando loss. We had just beat the Magic a couple days before that, and now finding ourselves having lost to the Magic in their house just gives me a little bit of cause for pause in regards to what we can actually do against the Heat. Now, I know we're missing some guys, man. Jalen Hood-Schifino's still out. Vanderbilt's still out. From what I understand, Jackson Hayes may be a game-time decision day-to-day at this point. Taurean Prince is expected to play. I did not see him on the injury report, so we're happy about that. But, you know, we're still missing people, man. We're still missing some people, and Hachimura, I believe, is still out as well. So, yeah, we're going to have to shuffle around our lineup, trying to make some sense. At least Taurean Prince will be back. Now, in the last game, we saw Anthony Davis block 7 shots, man. He's really playing well. 13 boards, if I'm not mistaken, over 23 points. You got to love what you're seeing from Anthony Davis, and in spite of all the circumstances that have going on around us, rebounding the ball, you know, poorly and losing games that we would otherwise expect to win in. But can't blame AD. A lot of people want to say AD's not doing enough. He's not doing his job because he's supposed to be the leader, but he's the quasi-leader, man. We know the leader is LeBron James. Till he retires, he's the leader of the whole damn league. So it's kind of hard to say you're going to be a leader on the team when Bron is down there, period. It just makes for a difficult dynamic when you try to take over a team that the GOAT is on. It just doesn't, that's not a real thing, man. That's what I want to say. I was listening to Ticket TV talk about that for 2 hours. AD needs to take over. How, bro? Like, honestly, psychologically, if he were on a team with any other star, maybe it would be a real thing for him to, like, convince everybody that he's the man. But you can't do that when LeBron James is on the team. You can't. It's not even possible. Even if Bron wants to let you be the star, he's so damn historic and great that you still look like you're trying to put on a hat that you can't wear when you try to be the leader on his team. So we've been talking about it a lot. We want AD to step up and be the leader, but that's not his personality to begin with. And on top of that, you got that dynamic I just described. So this is LeBron James's team, man. We all just got to understand that. And it doesn't matter what role he's playing. It's because of how much he's done in this league and how much he's still capable of doing on the basketball floor today that it's still incumbent upon him to take the reins psychologically for the team and lead the squad, man. It just is what it is. He's the guy, been the guy, and likely going to stay the guy until he decides to retire. So that's what I've come to terms with through, 6 games this season. And Anthony Davis is going to do great things statistically, but as far as emotional and spiritual leader, that's going to be the king, man. And so it's going to be on the king to continue to play at a high level, and he has been, man. I like what I saw from him, 3 steals in the last game, but we need more rebounding, man. I think he only had like 9 boards. He's going to have to up his boards, and I expect that he will, man. When you see a situation like this where your team was embarrassed on the defensive glass, usually your superstars, particularly LeBron James, I've seen him respond well to these type of things. I wouldn't be surprised if he walked away with 15 to 18 boards tonight. It wouldn't shock me at all, because that's just what super duper talents do when there's a massive glaring deficiency. I'm not saying that he's capable of doing that necessarily physically, because he's older now and the minutes may not be there and this, that, and the third. Bam Adebayo, they got some real rebounders too, but I just expect LeBron James to do some exaggerated stuff on the defensive glass tonight. He's gonna crash that glass like crazy because of how ridiculously we looked in that last game, glass-wise. And I expect AD to do the same, man. I want these guys to really take rebounding seriously tonight specifically. Respond to what just happened to us, man. Because at the end of the day, they were pulling down so many second chance points. It got to a point where it was like, are we even trying to win this game, or are we just, what are we doing? And I know that it was quoted that Darvin Ham said you can't scheme rebounding, but I don't agree. Why don't I agree? Because I know how you could easily leak back and avoid defensive glass entirely. And you think the ball's coming off the rim, you just let it go. And you just walk away from the situation. Or you think it's coming off the offensive glass and you leak back instead to get back on defense. You could scheme defense. You could crash the glass. You could put players on the floor that are down there for rebounding. You could position players in certain positions to ensure that rebounding is your focal point. So I don't agree with that. I've been scheming basketball in video games for too long to believe that rebounding can't be schemed. It definitely can be schemed. It's called positioning, and it's called situational basketball. If you want your team to defend, you're gonna put certain defenders on the floor. If you want to go for scoring, you're gonna put certain scoring on the floor. If you want rebounding, you put certain lineups on the floor. It's always been that way. So that's my opinion. Unless there's something I don't know, that is what I believe, and we're gonna have to do a better job rebounding the ball. Part of that is using the players that can do that, man. But the problem is a lot of those guys are out. Rui, potentially Jackson, obviously Vanderbilt's arguably our best rebounder, not named AD. Those are the guys. So it's going to be incumbent upon D'Los and Austin and whoever's going to play small forward, Torian. They got to pull down some boards, man. And they're going to have to do it against a pretty talented Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, who are known for rebounding the ball, man. So I don't want to see us having any more games for the rest of this season where we give up that many offensive boards, second chance points. We don't score enough to do that, period. And speaking of scoring, we had some scoring issues on the other side, man. D'Lo 1 for 10 from behind the arc, shot more shots than Bron and AD. That's just not what we need, especially when he's cold, man. And I know Darvin Ham has a thing about letting the cold guy shoot himself out of his slump. But we've already seen 2 games where 2 different players have shot us out of basketball game. The Kings game with Austin Reeves going 1 for 12, and the Orlando game where D'Angelo Russell went 4 for 17 from the field. I mean, I just know that philosophy is costing us games. If a guy's cold, sit him down early and feed the hot hand. Feed confidence. Don't try to feed guys who are lacking in confidence and continue to let them shoot us out of basketball games. It costs you wins, man. And that's a philosophy thing. It's like, oh, keep shooting. No, fam. No. You could keep shooting after the game in practice on your own time and shoot your way out of that slump. You don't have to use professional basketball minutes to shoot yourself out of a damn slump. Not if you're bricking everything. And tell a guy to spend hours in the gym afterwards. He can shoot all the shots he wants. But you know what I'm saying? When we out there trying to win a basketball game, nah, fam. Those possessions need to be quality. And I don't think we take possessions as seriously as we need to. And that attention to detail is going to cost us. And it already has. So that's my opinion about that. We also need to do a better job defensively. I mean, clearly, you know, when you're giving up 125 points to this team, it gets to a point where it's like, all right, man, maybe our schemes aren't quite working defensively either, even though we got some really talented guys down there playing D. Anthony Davis, obviously one of the best defensive players in the league. Cam Reddish has played some really good defense, even though his offense has not been good for us lately. We just need some consistency from the players on both sides of the floor. And we need coaches to lean in on things that are successful so that we can have the results that come with it. If you lean into things that are unsuccessful, you're going to have the results that come with it. And that's just what I know, man. We could play the psychological. Let's keep us believing in a guide game. You know what I mean? Let's believe in him. Even through the struggles, let's believe in him. Yeah, that's cool, but you go get all of the losses that come with him trying to figure himself out. So it's just a philosophy thing, man. And I have a different one. I want to see the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Miami Heat because obviously we got LeBron James coming back to Miami. How many more times he will be coming back to Miami is a head scratcher, given the fact he's this far into his career, 21 years in. Obviously, he won 2 championships with the Miami Heat, been to the finals with them 3 times. This is a big game for him. And, the crowd will be there for him. They may have a tribute video for him or something like that. It's going to be an emotional night every time he comes there. So it's going to be upon us to show some solidarity and play our best basketball as a team. Try to tribute to the king ourselves, man, because if we go out there lackluster like we did in that last game, halfway paying attention to the rebound and halfway paying attention to what we're doing offensively, we're going to halfway find ourselves on the outside of a victory. That's really what it comes down to. And, talking about the Miami Heat, as I said, they've been winning only 1 or 2 games they've won this season. Against the Wizards, they got a victory, and they did find a way to beat the Pistons in the first game of the season, where they had a 19-point lead and blew it all the way down to an opportunity where Cade Cunningham just simply missed a game-winning shot. So Miami's not a good team, man, and particularly what's going on right now is you got 2 struggling teams coming in together to play a game. So, may the best team win, that kind of thing, because I think it's a potential we could see either a classic tonight with 2 teams trying to fight their way out of their own slumps, or a real ugly basketball game where 2 bad teams try to kick each other's butts. Like, it could be one or the other, in my opinion. But anytime you get these 2 markets coming together, it's definitely going to be a lot of eyes on the game, Miami and Los Angeles. So, Stephen A. Smith's dream matchup every year. He would love to see these 2 teams in the finals. But, I don't think that this is what you're going to see this year. So let's enjoy the Miami Heat now. Yeah, it's kind of a thing where you wonder if Eric Spoelstra is going to play Kevin Love tonight. He did bench him in the last one. He has been shifting the rotation around that starting lineup quite a bit. It has caused them a lot of problems. So hopefully we could take advantage of that, even though we kind of had the same problem. Given the fact that we have so many players missing, consistency is not key. I don't know if that Taurean Prince is now back. We will be starting him. Maybe that will be the case. We might continue to go with Cam Reddish. But like I said, Cam Reddish, his offense really needs a lot of work, man. His defense, he's showing us defensively he could do some things. But if your offense and you're taking shots, you're aggressive and you're bricking, that kind of thing, it just makes for a very difficult thing, man. It's something to be said for shot execution. And Cam Reddish is not very good at that right now. So, we could definitely trust Taurean Prince to play a bit more of what we need down there on the offensive end. And of course, his defense is really good too. He's just coming back from a knee, and if that knee is going to continue to be a problem, we don't want to overuse him, because that's really what we've been doing. If you look and see what we've been doing to start the season, overusing Taurean Prince, overusing Gabe Vincent, and they both have knee issues, so it's like, all right, can we scale back what we're doing with those guys, since it wasn't really causing us a whole lot of success any damn way, and just kind of continue to use the young guys? I like what I saw from Max Christie. I would love to see us continue to have momentum on him, because at the end of the day, he's finally seeing his mid-range shot fall, and that's really a good attacking thing for him. He helps us defensively with length. Athleticism's there. He could work on his handle. Of course, he's a developing player, but I like what I saw from Max, and I'd love to see us continue to lean into letting him try to work his way into the rotation, rather than trying to go back to guys who didn't do too well. You know what I mean? I ain't saying start Max, but give him minutes that you would otherwise not give him if everybody were healthy, because at the end of the day, those guys will be coming back. And as they do, it will be less minutes for Max to try to work himself into the equation. And he's helping us. I really believe Max is helping us. What is he, 4 for 7 or something like that from the last game? Hit a couple mid-range shots, got us some boards, about 5 rebounds, I think, in the last game. That is somebody who helps us on the glass, and that is exactly where we were deficient in the previous game. So, I think Christie's trajectory is starting to upswing, and I think it would be wise to let him continue to work that out. Austin Reeves is starting to slowly but surely work his way through his slump. Had 20 points in the last game, starting to get some assists going, needing to crash the glass as he did last year, particularly offensive glass, try to give us second chance points where we're giving up others. And continue to work on his conditioning, man, and continue to play at a level that we know he can. He's a much higher level player than we've seen him play this season, and it's been a little disappointing. I think his struggles have kind of correlated with us struggling, but all in all, he has to kind of get in where he fits in. It's the third and fourth option, something in that range. So I like Austin Reeves a great deal, but I just want us to give a bit more focus on him and get him going, so that he can kind of take pressure off of Bron and AD in ways that he's expected to, but has yet to, in my opinion. So this is what we're looking at, man. The Miami Heat basketball team that is happy to have gotten their last win. And even though they were giving up some really good shooting numbers to the Washington bench, I think Johnny Davis was 5 for 5. Somebody else was 4 for 5. So, maybe we could have some success with their second units offensively, given the fact that that's what the data shows us that Washington did. So, yeah, man, these are things I'm thinking about. At the end of the day, if we're thinking about our problems, we need to consider rebounding, and we need to consider leaning on the hot hand. Guys are going to miss shots, but don't let the guys who are missing the most shots take the most shots. You feel me? That's really what it comes out to. If their percentage is in the teens, then they should probably be shooting less than 7 shots, man. And let a guy, stop the bleeding. Lean on the hot hand, not the cold hand. So that's my thing. And let's just get Bron involved as we have been. LeBron James is playing at a high level, to say the least. Throughout the fourth quarter, he's probably the most clutch player in the game right now. Him and Wembanyama, believe it or not, are killing it in the fourth quarters this season as the best 2 clutch players in the game. So, if you're talking about trying to win, you need to, again, feed the hot hand and let the king go do that. I don't believe in, managing his minutes. I don't care that his minutes are up. I just want to see him continue to get a consistency throughout the course of the season. That's what it's about. Consistency. If you go play him 40 minutes, give him 40 minutes every night. If you go play him 36 minutes, give him 36 every night. But that's what I think is best for the king, not fluctuating that and looking at his age and saying, well, even though the data tells us he doesn't need it, let's give it to him anyway because that's what is smart. That's not what's smart. What's smart is keeping him in a Groundhog Day-like consistency is what I think. And if you give him that this far into the game with the conditioning that he's worked up over the last 21 years, his body will respond well to consistency because that's what he's been giving himself. So he doesn't have any knick-knack injuries. He's not telling us he's tired. Don't treat him like he is. It's too early in the season to care about all that. We got a whole half a season coming down the pipeline before All-Star break that we could start to react to whatever his body actually does throughout the course of the wear and tear. But as far as us just saying let's slow him down early, you get him off to a putt start, believe me, he's going to putt all the way through the season. So that's what I understand. And as far as Anthony Davis, where it's a different body, that's a different person. I like what Anthony's doing, but I don't want to lean on him too much, have a different way of looking at him. But at the same time, if he's in shape and he's healthy and he feels good, let him do it. But D'Lo's a little different too, because he's not somebody I want trying to lean. I don't want to lean on D'Lo for success to try to win, man. And I know we're kind of down a guard or two, but we do have Austin Reeves. We do have LeBron James capable of playing the point guard. We can use some of those, those options to try to supplement what otherwise D'Lo's doing wrong if D'Lo is indeed going to struggle like he did against Orlando. Now, just in the same breath, he had an amazing game against Orlando the week before, going 10 for 14. So the inconsistency there is a bit frustrating, but that's kind of what you expect from D'Angelo Russell, man. He's a good player, but he's not great, and with that comes the inconsistency in his production. So hopefully this can be a bounce-back game for D'Lo against the Heat, but if not, then it will translate to the Lakers struggling if they don't shift away from him and shift into some circumstances that allow for us to have a bit more options, consistency there. That's why I want us to go to the Max Lewis's and Max Christie's, because I just know that they can make up for things like that if they're going. I know people don't want to play rookies. We talk about this a million times, but sometimes you look at what a rookie can do and you give him an opportunity and he does that for you. And so given the fact that one of the best players in all of basketball, Wembanyama, is a rookie right now, I don't see any reason at all for us to be looking at rookies like they are incapable of doing great things. It's just not the era we're in anymore. We do need to catch up to that understanding. So, yeah, man, that's my thought, man. Some rookies struggle. Don't get it twisted. We're looking at rookies struggle in certain situations. Portland has a struggling rookie. Houston has some struggling rookies. They're not getting the minutes. But, these type of things are common. But you got to see them struggle in order to see them struggle. You can't just assume they're going to struggle because their rookies never play them and then just have that in your head. No, let a guy try. And with a guy like Max Lewis, I really think he should be getting some minutes. Colin Castleton, you got rebounding issues? He's a rebounder. That's what he does. Put him on the floor and get some help for yourself. A man like that got 5 minutes in the last game? And you watch the other team get all kinds of offensive rebounds? At some point in time, you got to say, that was my solution right there. I just didn't choose it. So these are the things I need Darvin Ham to give some consideration to, especially since we're so short-handed. I need more production from my bench, but I can't get that if you're not playing the bench. So that's really what it comes down to. He's leaning into his starters a little more than he needs to, and he's not trusting the young guys enough, and it's not giving the starters enough of a breather to be going up against athletic teams like Orlando, and Sacramento and all these different teams that we're seeing. So it's been a frustrating start to the season. The Lakers are 3-3. I don't know how the hell we got 3 victories out of how bad we've been playing. I really don't. In the games that we won, we did not play well. Except for the Orlando game. I think it's the only game. No, we didn't. Because we played down to the level of the opponent in that win and only won by 3. In the Sacramento Kings game, it took an overtime to beat them, and we were down in that game. In the Clipper game that we won, we started off slow. Ended up having 12 turnovers off 11 steals for the Clippers in the first half. So it's we have not played well. Don't let anybody tell you that just because the Lakers have won 3 games that they are an average team. Right now, we've been playing very much below average basketball. And if you look at what the data showed you in the last game, we got dog-walked by an Orlando team that was missing 2 of its starters. So I don't think we're walking into Miami with the greatest momentum. I've been on record saying that I thought we could sweep this 4-game road trip, but at this point we could also get swept, given the way that we've been playing, the way we started the road trip. So I want to believe in this Laker team. I want to have confidence in them. I know we're short-handed, and it has a lot to do with what we're seeing. But I do believe that we can do better even though we're short-handed. And it starts with us addressing our issues. Don't let the cold hand shoot too damn much. And do a better job on the defensive glass. And, of course, shoot the 3 in ways that make sense. Our percentages have been all over the place. Our attempts have been all over the place. And I just don't I don't think that we can really get away with shooting below 35% and trying to win these basketball games. So, and going up against a struggling Heat team, that might be what the doctor ordered, but at the same time, they do have a serious isolation player in Tyler Hero that you had better pay attention to, or he will go for 25-plus points on you or more. He's going board. He's going to assist. He's got point guard skills. He's got great handles. He's a wiggly guy. He can hit a lot of threes, get streaky type of stuff. We got to pay attention to him, or it could be a long night. So hopefully Darvin has a scheme that works. We got a couple of defensive players that we could throw on the guy. And I think it would be wise to take him seriously. And so, AD, we come and go as AD takes us as far as the stats are concerned, as far as our production is concerned. Even though LeBron is a spiritual, emotional leader, it's going to be AD that's going to have to go all the way up to 40 points. It's going to be AD who has to get 20 boards. It's going to be AD that has to get 7 blocks. It's going to be AD who has to ultimately hit his shots. Christian Wood is an important piece as well. Since we have so many forwards missing, I think it makes a lot of sense to try to slip him into the starting lineup at some point and see if him and AD can get us off to a good start. With the length that they use down there, we've had a lot of success when we see them together, but we just don't use it very much. So with Jackson Hayes being out, I do want to see more Christian Wood down there, and I know what his offense can do for us. He's a good shooter, fantastic presence in the post. We just got to feed him a bit more and be confident in using him. And if he's hot, keep feeding him, man, because Christian Wood's not a guy who's supposed to be going 3 for 3 and walking away with only 9 points. If he went 3 for 3, he needs to be attempted 12 shots. Period. That's the type of offensive talent he is, and that's what we should be trying to utilize while we're shorthanded. So a little more Christian Wood out there, please. And that's my thoughts, man. It's unfortunate Gabe Vincent can't play in this game because obviously this is his return to Miami. But he's hurt, man. We overused him to start the season. We acted like he was Patrick Beverly last year. And so you do that with a guy who played that deep into the year, as he did playing in the finals with the Miami Heat. You ain't going to have him in games like this, Darvin. Should have been using the young guys. You'd have Gabe available for his return to Miami game. So it is what it is, man. I'm a frustrated Laker fan. I'm tired of us being mediocre to start this season. We're 3-3, and we're lucky to have won the games we won, man. And a lot of that has to do with the absence of players, but also a lot of that has to do with just not being prepared, man. And so crash the damn glass, calm down the cold hand. AD needs to give us 4 quarters of basketball, not just 2, in terms of offense. And we need Bron to continue playing at a high level if we're going to beat this Miami Heat team tonight. Be ready for Bam Adebayo. He plays excellent defense in the paint. He's going to try to give AD problems. Go try to draw fouls. Be aware of Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler, and we know what he can do. We've seen him go crazy. We've seen him with 36 and triple-double. We've seen Jimmy's highest level, so don't expect anything less than Jimmy. He always has fantastic confidence against the LA Lakers. It just is what it is. And so that's what I'll say, man. Be aware of a guy like, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson shooting the ball. Please be aware that Duncan Robinson is having a pretty good season and getting more minutes. As I said, Taylor Highsmith, they shoot the 3, man. Hero, they shoot it. So do not underestimate them. Jaime Jaquez has a big body. Then we talked about size and different issues that we had with size in that previous matchup against Orlando. Jaime Jaquez is another big guy. Bam Adebayo, big guy. You got to know what you're dealing with down there. Don't think for 1 second that Jaime Jaquez doesn't have a high ceiling. He definitely does. If they put him on the floor, just like Anthony Black, he could be one of the best players out there. It just is what it is, man. Do not disrespect size, please, Lakers. So that's my take on the Miami Heat, man. I always have more to say before these games than afterward these days. And it's because I know that usually after those games, we just kind of blah. And that's what I have for them most of the time. This has not been the most exciting season to start the year. And hopefully when we get our full team back, that can change, man. But we're getting to a space where it's like, all right, D-Lo, one good game, one bad game, one good game, one bad game. It's just getting to a point where your inconsistency is reflecting in our record. Not to say that this is all your fault, but we're 3-3. You know what I'm saying? So that hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, that's kind of what is happening to the team as a whole. So we need to get some consistency going one way or another. If we're going to suck, be bad. If you're going to be a good team, play better. And that is really my attitude. I don't think it's more complicated than that. But this whole staying at 500 thing, this can't last all season long, man. We're going to want people out of here if we go stay 500 all year. LeBron James ain't got the time. We just played Anthony Davis $1 trillion. You know, we got some movable contracts. some of these dudes is role players that other teams think are really, really good. We can move stuff around if guys are going to give us lackluster production night in and night out. Okay? Let's just be real. We got a lot of upside youngsters that we could be happy with playing. Guys are going to have to prove themselves if they want to stay here, man, including coach. Definitely including coach. So that's my attitude, man. My Laker fandom never wavers, but my enthusiasm for what I'm seeing is wavering. I'm not amused with 3-3 when we playing Orlando twice. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. So that's what it is. We got a weak Miami Heat team ahead. I'm sorry, they are weak. They're not very good. They don't have a whole lot of talent right now, but they do have some high-level stars that we're going to have to respect if we're going to get a victory in their house. So that's what I got to say, man. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching, and I'm out.